Welcome back to the Gamers Hall. I'm Chris.
And I'm Adam.
And today we're going to be talking about the Unearthed Arcana One D&D character origins.
We're going to try to figure out a little bit about the origins, the options through the whole playtest material, and give you our opinions on this, and maybe we can figure out how this is supposed to work.
Feats. They've changed some of the feats. They've added some. Some people will consider some of these nerfed from what the previous edition was. But honestly, I think it's more of a balancing act.
And it's definitely more of a positive change for the game in general.
Yeah, because essentially what they're doing is they're saying, hey, yeah, it's not as great as it was before, but guess what? You're going to have more fun, and the DM's not going to have a headache now.
Yeah.
Because what does the game need more of right now? DMs. Like, literally, they were paying people
$20 an hour.
$20 an hour at Gen Con for someone to just be the DM, but nobody wanted to be the DM.
Yeah. It's crazy. But we'll break it down first. So, parts of the feats have levels. And they will continue to have different levels, and it's basically that's their path that they're taking. So these are the first level feats. You only get them at first level, basically from your background, or in the case of a human, they get a choice, the race. But later on, you'll get more feats, and as you go up in levels, you can still take feats from that are lower level. So that's good.
Yeah.
Prerequisites.
Yeah. Some feats have prerequisites, and if you lose the prerequisite of that feat, you cannot use that feat until you regain the prerequisite.
Yeah. Which will be situational, but that's good to know that is definitely in the rules. So you can lose the stuff that you've got.
If you had a strength prerequisite and something drained you of your strength, well, you just lost the ability to use that feat.
Yeah. And repeatable, so there are definite feats that you can repeat and some that you can't, which has been part of the previous edition as well already.
Right.
It's just they're making sure that is for sure worded in the definition of it.
I think they're also doing that because of backwards compatibility. So if you take the lucky feat here, you can't take the old lucky feat as well.
Because we're not sure how they're going to wash out some of the other stuff.
Right.
Everything is supposed to be backwards compatible. Supposed to be. So we'll see how they play with that in the future. They might just say, hey, all feats from the previous section no longer are good. You can use other things, but that does not work.
But honestly, I believe that they have made the feats in such a way that they're also less likely to get banned at your gaming table.
Absolutely. From looking at this currently, which we're about to go over a lot of them, none of these have that I'm going to break the game feel. They have good bits to them, and in certain situations might be really powerful, but none of these feel like you're going to cause the DM to have to forcefully change what he's going to do because you picked up a feat.
So let's talk about the alert feat. Now, the original alert feat, you got +5 to initiative. You could not be surprised while you were conscious, and other creatures didn't get any advantage on you for being invisible or unseen.
Yeah, pretty good feat. But now, this new one, you get initiative proficiency, which means you add your proficiency in initiative roll. So not quite a +5, but still there. But the big deal is initiative swap. Immediately after you roll initiative, you can swap your initiative with the initiative of one willing ally in the same combat as long as you or they are not incapacitated.
Yes.
Tactically, this is huge.
Oh, yes, because there's been many times where you want the wizard to go before the fighter.
Yeah. And I love the tactics of combat, and from my viewpoint, I think this is such a strong and fun feat where you're not dictating the battlefield, but you're going to dictate how the battlefield runs by saying, okay, I got a 25 on my initiative, and I'm the rogue. I need you, fighter, to be up there first. So you got a 15, we're going to switch. So I can guarantee you'll get up there, so then I shoot him in the face with my arrow from back here and get my sneak attack.
Exactly. So party combos. If you have a party and you guys have certain combos you like to do together, it's like, okay, well, we really need the Grave Cleric to go first so he can make that person vulnerable, and then the rogue can come up and sneak attack them.
Yeah, this is going to be more. This is going to help players play together and take the headache away from the DM. The previous one is more of a headache for the DM. This one is player cohesiveness.
Yeah, I mean, I always hated the alert feat because I hated the fact that you could not be surprised. I absolutely hated that because anyone, even the most alert person, can still get surprised.
It just means you're hyper paranoid. And that's what the old alert feat was, hyper paranoia.
Yeah.
You're always ready for something to go bad.
Yes, even in the most unrealistic situations.
Yeah. Which means you don't ever sleep, you know.
I mean, that was the only way you could surprise somebody is if they were asleep.
Yeah.
If they were unconscious.
Yeah, but that's the funny part about the old alert feat is effectively, you know, an elf that had alert was effectively hyperly paranoid and always aware of their surroundings.
Yep, and it's a nightmare for a DM.
Yeah, or a warforged, you just sit around and you never get past one of them, ever.
Yeah, but I like this new edition a lot better. A lot better.
A lot better. All right, Crafter feat. This is the one that gives me hope for the economy of D&D to change. Tool proficiency. You gain proficiency with 3 different artisan tools of your choice. That's 3 more proficiencies. And it definitely lets me know that they're going to add more emphasis on building, creating, and using these tools, where before it's kind of just like, oh, you can do it. Now maybe they're going to give us charts, or, you know, hey, how can I make more poisons and different poisons, or making your own weapons and, you know, different. Get into that part of it where outside of combat will matter more than inside of combat.
Yeah. And discount.
Oh, man.
Whenever you buy a non-magical item, you receive a 20% discount on it.
Yeah, this might be somewhat of a headache for a DM, but really it just means you know where you have an eye for value.
It means you're a good haggler, in my opinion. That's how I work.
It's like adding the old appraisal skill that they used to have in previous editions, where you could find the good value, where you know how much something might be worth. This is just kind of giving you the ability to go, I want this one here because you put it on sale, you know, or you can mess with some of this stuff. It's cool. It's a good addition.
See, Wayne, I look at it as like in Vietnamese culture, they are expert hagglers. Like when they go to buy something, they know typically they're trying to get upsold, and they're like, listen, all right, you said $10, but let's go $2. And it's like, no, I'm not giving you this for $2. And like they just keep working. It's like, all right, fine, $7.
Yeah, okay, good. We'll go with that. So faster crafter, when you craft an item using a tool which has a tool proficiency, you reduce the time by 20%. That is cool. That is another, hey, we are going to put more emphasis on outside of combat, which is definitely something that's sorely lacked in a lot of different campaigns. People don't know what to do because they don't have any rules that really work and base around that type of situation.
And also a lot of players sometimes just don't know what to do with downtime.
Yeah. So this is going to give more emphasis to somebody who actually actively wants to do that. And the fact that this is any 3 or different artisan ones can fit into different roles. You could be a blacksmith, you can be a stonesmith, you can be a poison maker, you can be an herbalist. It's not going to have to be specified, a whole bunch of different feats specified for that. It's generic enough for it.
Also, this is the person you want if you're doing a heist, because like, we don't have this. All right, well, you can make it.
Yeah, a healer feat, a lot better than what it used to be.
Well, because now it gives, instead of just that little bit that it did before, you're getting that, and if you were already a healer, now you're getting a benefit as well. Yeah.
So Battle Medic, you can use your healer's kit, spend 1 use, and then you can give somebody back a hit dice. They roll their hit dice, and you add your proficiency bonus to the hit point. So you always have a pseudo healing potion ready with a healer's kit, so that's kind of cool.
I believe the one before was a little bit better because you added level instead of proficiency, but I like this. It toned it down a little bit, but not enough that it's going to be bad.
But healing rerolls, when determining the number of hit dice you restore with a spell or with the feature's Battle Medic benefit, if you roll a 1, you can re-roll it. That is a big deal.
Oh, it's a huge deal. It's going to be hard not to pick the healer feat if you are planning on being a healer.
Yeah, Life Domain Cleric, auto-include.
Oh,
if you're playing Life Domain, I mean, maybe not necessarily auto-include, but like, it's the thing you're gonna probably want.
I mean, if you're just a cleric in general,
Yeah, or
it's gonna make your heals just that more potent.
The Circle of the Shepherd Druid that's based more around healing. This will be great for them as well, because if you're gonna heal, you need to heal.
Okay, but check this out. If you add the healer's feat on top of a spell that a lot of people have considered nerfed to that a point to where no one is gonna want to use it, Healing Spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, now you get to re-roll those ones, because sometimes that sucks. It's like, oh yeah, it's like, all right, you got one. It's like, well, now you're really maximizing
or upping the potential, which is good. Which more likely, what that means is you're more likely going to end up with 3s and 4s than you'll end up with 1s, which is good. You know, getting the midway heal is much more important than getting the below heal in most games. Lucky feats, huge change.
Yeah, this version is definitely, I don't see it getting banned at the table.
No. And it also is showing that they're wanting to go more towards making inspirations more a part of the game and more important.
Yeah. And also this is just a lot more balanced.
Luck points, you have a number of luck points equal to your proficiency bonus, instead of just like 3 like the old one used to get. You regain them after you finish a long rest. Advantage immediately after you roll a d20 for a d20 test. You can spend 1 luck point to give yourself advantage on that roll. Not adding another die, and just advantage.
Not before.
Not before, after.
Because with inspiration, you have to do before. With this, you can do after. And plus, there isn't any of that cheaty BS where a player says, I'm going to close my eyes, roll at disadvantage on this attack, and then I'm going to use my luck point to roll the extra d20 and pick the highest of those 3.
I think it's very important to know that advantage and disadvantage cancel each other out. So if you had disadvantage on the roll beforehand, then if you would get advantage afterwards, it just means don't take the low roll. You only take that high roll you've already rolled. That's important, and that also takes a headache away from the DM. That's how that works.
Okay, sorry for the confusion there. The Lucky Feat disadvantage, they definitely need to reword this one because a lot of confusion can come from it. We just got into an argument about it that we're going to edit out. And this says, when a creature rolls a d20 for an attack roll against you, you can spend a luck point to impose disadvantage on that roll. Which means before the roll, if they had advantage on you, you can impose a disadvantage. Now they're rolling regular. So I don't know if that's what was intended, but rules as written, that's what it is.
It needs to be clarified because when somebody is doing something already, they would go, okay, you add the disadvantage and we do it before. Because advantage specifically says after. This is not specifying. So you have one thing that's specific and one thing that's generic, which would cause the person who read the thing first that's specific to look at it and go, think of it in the specific sense, not the generic sense of what it means. Oh, do it before. So they need to be specific on both the advantage part and the disadvantage part on the exact timing of when you would activate this ability. Otherwise, it's a great ability because imposing disadvantage on getting hit can save your life.
Yeah, either making somebody roll normal or at actual disadvantage. So, Magic Initiate. There are no prerequisites. It is repeatable, but you must choose from a different spell list each time.
They're now changing spells to be from different schools, effectively.
Yeah, instead of a class.
Sources. They come from different sources. You have the arcane source, the divine source, and the primal source. And now spells will be grouped in those sources, and something later on will tell you, hey, pick from this spell list, and you get these. You have access to this entire one, and you can do this. And then they'll specify later different stuff. So this is giving you a choice. 2 cantrips from one of those spell lists, and then a first level spell from the same spell list. You can cast once without using a spell slot, and then you can use your own spell slots
to cast the same spells
if
later
not,
on.
after a long rest, you'll get it back. And then, also, you can choose Intelligence, Wisdom, or Charisma for how you cast that spell as your main spellcasting ability.
And this is one of the main differences from the regular player's handbook to this, because in the old version, whatever class you chose from, you used their ability and not one that you pick.
Yeah, and this is falling in line with some of the recent feats that give you spells like Fake Touch, Shadow Touch, and stuff like that.
Right.
Let you pick how you want to cast these spells.
Musician.
Yeah.
No prerequisite, not repeatable. You gain tool proficiency in 3 musical instruments of your choice.
Mm-hmm.
And inspiring song. As you finish a short rest or a long rest, you can play a song on your musical instruments with which you have tool proficiency and give inspiration to allies who hear the song. The number of allies you affect in this way equals your proficiency bonus.
So first level downtime, I can give the fighter and the rogue. I'm the bard, and I'm going to give them both inspiration while we're just hanging out.
You don't even have to be the bard.
You could be the wizard.
You could be the wizard. You could be the fighter.
Somebody that's good with musical instruments, and they can be several different types of instruments. But also, this would be kind of funny outside. Somebody doing a short rest in the dungeon pulls out their lute and starts playing. Could be very interesting that a goblin comes and looks and sees, why are you playing a musical instrument in my home? But regardless, it's a good ability.
Particularly damaging strikes. When you take the attack action and hit a target with a weapon as part of that action, you can reroll the weapon's damage dice twice. You use either roll against the target. You can use this benefit only once per turn.
What that's saying is, if you are a fighter with a longsword and you swing and you hit, roll a d8 twice, and you get to pick which number you want to use. So if you roll a 7 and a 3, you can say, I'm going to use the 7 to hit. This is going to be good with weapons such as great swords and great axes for sure. If you're going to be a great axe wielding barbarian that has savage attacker, you'll get to roll 2d12s and take which one you want to take. So the likelihood you'll actually do the damage you intend to do is much greater. Also on the adverse, if you don't feel like actually killing somebody, just knocking them out and getting them low, you can pull your punches a little bit too. So a savage attacker could also be merciful attacker in the same sense.
That's a very good point, actually.
Yeah, because it's not taking the highest.
Skill. No prerequisite. It is repeatable.
Choose 3 skill proficiencies. You gain proficiency in those skills. Just like the old one, one of those that I don't believe a lot of people took, but mostly because it doesn't feel useful after first level, but the fact that this is a first level feat that anybody can take, I believe is extremely good and extremely strong.
Yeah, I mean, a first level human can start out with 9 skill proficiencies.
Before class.
Because
they can, their skill proficiency they automatically get because they're human. Then 3 because they take the skill feat again from their race. And then another 3 because they take the feat from the background. And then 2 because they automatically get 2. So 11 of the from class, 11 from a minimum from class can be taken all the way. So
at first level you're skilled in over half of the entire skill tree.
Yeah. So a rogue, taking advantage of this, a human rogue could be skilled in almost everything. Which skill monkeys are very fun to play and underutilized most of the time because more people pay attention to in combat than out of combat.
Right.
But this will make out of combat situations a lot better since almost anybody can be more skilled now.
All right, Tavern Brawler. This one got a lot of changes.
Yeah.
No prerequisite, not repeatable. Enhanced unarmed strikes. When you hit with your unarmed strike, you deal bludgeoning damage equal to a d4 plus strength modifier instead of the normal unarmed strike, which would be 1.
1, yeah, which is basically the same as the old one. Here's where it gets different.
Damage rerolls. When you roll a damage die for your unarmed strikes, you can reroll the die if it rolls a 1 and must use the new roll.
That's huge. Monks are going to want to take this because that's really good and actually something that's needed because right now this feat is now playable and usable by monks for sure, unlike how it used to be where there's no point in really taking this unless you just like the flavor of being a tavern brawler.
The next thing is shove. So when you hit a creature with an arm strike as part of the attack action on your turn, you can deal damage to the target and also push it 5 feet away from you.
Now this is usable by every class.
And you can only do this once per turn.
Yeah, so this is a pseudo-mobility in a way. If you want to get somebody off of you, you hit them with an arm strike, basically that front kick, push them away, and now you can run away without provoking attack opportunity. Or you can just push them over a ledge. You're used to knocking somebody over a bar stool or bar table or something, and more versatility in your attack.
Yep. Or you could just be that wizard that just shoves people away from you so you can run away.
Yeah, it's very useful. And then the last one, which we had to look up the definition of one of these words, but you can wield furniture as a weapon using the rules for great club for small and medium furniture and the rules for club for tiny furniture. Chris, what is a furniture?
So the definition for furniture is a large movable equipment such as table, chairs, used to make a house, office, or space suitable for living, small accessories or fittings for particular use or piece of equipment.
Yeah. So that ranges to almost everything you find in the room that has a purpose to use.
And what this also does is stop people from taking Tavern Brawler and coming up with just very unrealistic, stupid things like, I'm going to ball up a piece of paper and throw it at this person, and it does a D4 damage now.
They've they found one word that encompasses what the stuff is. So you can hit somebody with a table or a chair. You can hit somebody with a broomstick still, because that is an accessory or equipment that is used for something in the room.
You can John Wick stab somebody with a pin using Tavern Brawler.
So it encompasses a lot of things, but it's making it specific towards something you can actually grab that will do or have substance. This paper doesn't count, but this will hurt somebody.
Yeah, so if you're in a tavern, basically anything you grab, the mugs, the glass, the table trays, the tables, the chairs, will do damage to somebody. You're not probably going to damage somebody by taking your shirt off and hitting them with it.
No, that's not a piece of furniture. So the last one, it's the same as before, good as it always was, tough. Your hit point maximum increases by an amount equal to twice your character level when you gain this feat, and whenever you gain a level thereafter, your hit point increases by 2 hit points per. So if you're level 1, when you get this, you get 2. If you're level 4, when you get this, you get 8. And then it will give you 2 every level afterwards. Basically 2 extra hit points per level of character.
Yep.
And that's great.
These are the new first level feats. And I think that they have really done a good job at balancing these down and making it to where it's not going to be such a headache for DMs that none of these are going to get banned at any tables.
And they've really honed in on the feats that are important for first level and first level play. And they did not include any feats such as sharpshooter or
crossbow expert, great weapon fighter.
Yeah, any of those feats that seem like they would be better later on down the line when you have more experience to gain. This is good. These are all flavorful for starting out an adventure.
Yeah, and they again, as part of what is intended with this new Unearthed Arcana, is these first level feats are to help build the character of your character.
Yeah, this is to make who you are as the individual in your actual player character. This is intending to write the backstory of what they've dealt with, where they've been, what they've had to deal with, not what they're going to do.
Right.
All of this really fits into that narrow scope. Or not really narrow. It's actually kind of wide, but
it gives you a great template to say, I can now write my backstory.
Yeah. And it also allows them to add more things into this with the feats, first level feats of, finding other things that maybe, hey, we forgot about this, or, something like that to add more flavor. Especially gives for more growth later on.
Right.
But yeah, feats are pretty good.